Hello, my name is Joshua Gilliland. I'm the blogger for Bowtie Law and the Legal Geeks, and thank you for joining us today for another episode of the Legal Geeks educational series. Today, we will be focusing on the federal rules of evidence, specifically relevance. Huge issue when we look at electronically stored information. Because we have such a large volume of ESI out there, it's very easy to get sidetracked, to miss our focus, and end up looking at a whole lot of information that is irrelevant instead of relevant. So let's talk about the definition of relevance. Pursuant to Federal Rule of Evidence, Rule 401, here's the test for relevance. Evidence is relevant if it has any tendency to make a fact more or less probable than it would be without the evidence, and the fact is of consequence in determining the action. Now, it's very interesting to look at any of the different state laws out there to see if they mirror the federal rules of evidence, directly, or if they have their own spin to the legal theory. California Evidence Code Section 210 defines relevant evidence as evidence, including evidence relevant to the credibility of a witness or hearsay declarant, having any tendency and reason to prove or disprove any disputed fact that is of consequence to the determination of the action. This is always exciting for California attorneys who also practice in federal court because they have to be familiar with two different code sections that effectively have the same goal about defining relevance and not having irrelevant information come into court. So, relevance and admissibility, two key topics. Now, let's first look at Rule 402 under the Federal Rules of Evidence, which states that relevant evidence is admissible unless any of the following provides otherwise: the United States Constitution, a federal statute, the rules of evidence, or other rules from the United States Supreme Court. And the little catch-all that irrelevant evidence is not admissible. Now, California's slightly different spin, but still the same goal. No evidence is admissible except relevant evidence. Now, looking to Code Section 351, we now have the nice little catch-all, except as otherwise provided by statute, all relevant evidence is admissible. Good, handy, and it's good to know the subtle differences, but the end goals are the same: to keep out information that's extraneous, that doesn't have anything to do with the merits of a case. Exclusion of evidence. Now, under the Federal Rules of Evidence, Rule 403, we have this rule that can exclude evidence that's prejudicial, confusing, a waste of time. And the test is the court may exclude relevant evidence if it is probative value is substantially outweighed by danger of any of the following factors. And that could be unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, misleading the jury, undue delay, or a waste of time. Or if it's making the rubble bounce, if it's saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, court doesn't want an experiment in redundancy. So that's another way to exclude evidence that could be relevant, but if you've already said it 50 times, it doesn't necessarily need to come in. California's exclusion rule is defined under Code Section 352. And in that, it states the court, in its discretion, and again, this is an issue of discretion, may exclude evidence if its probative value is substantially outweighed by the probability that its admission will, A, necessitate undue consumption of time, or B, create substantial danger of undue prejudice, of confusing the issues, or of misleading the jury. We want to get to the truth. We do not want to have something that's going to be inflammatory, that, again, doesn't help us reach the merits of the case. And, there are examples of this, and we can explore those a little later. So that defines relevance very quickly and to the point under the Federal Rules of Evidence and California's Evidence Code. Thank you for joining us today, and stay tuned for more educational videos and our Legal Geeks specials on our YouTube channel. Thank you for visiting, and have a wonderful day.